Hello, I'm Shelley Rothus, and I'm a different kind of victim. Today's topic is going to be based upon silent no more. So, one thing that's pretty hypocritical is that the mental health field is they teach the walk away method as being the right way to do it, as though that's the only choice you have in order to resolve the problem properly. But then they say silent no more. Okay, well, silent no more, that could go for victims that don't report. So, actually, me and my friend Nina were talking about this. So, I didn't report the first two times that I was sexually assaulted. I did inform somebody who's an adult, which happens to be my sister by blood, the first time it happened, and she ended up taking the rapist's word over mine and falsely accused me of being a drug addict, even though the rapist had drugged and raped me. So, that's what happened there. I didn't tell anybody else, not even my best friend. So, I was embarrassed. I was ashamed that it happened to me. And the second time, same thing. I didn't tell any friends. I did inform my parents. They didn't do much either. So, I was actually shamed many times by others for not reporting it to the police. So, guess what happened when I did? Wow. Like I stated in past videos, is I'm never reporting it again. Somebody actually said it again recently, report it, because they heard about it, from the gossipers and whatnot out there. The, people that can't mind their own business and keep their noses out of other people's business because they have nothing better to do than to intentionally harm others. But anyways, they said, well, I did. Well, it's not going to be like that for everybody. If it doesn't help somebody, then why do it? It's not going to help me, even if that person ends up in jail. That's not going to help me. As I stated, is that what happened with the last one is I wasn't hurt by that mainly, as you've heard in my videos. It was other things that person had done before that even happened. So, now back to the silent no more. Even my friend agrees with me. You get shamed whether you report it or you don't. So, it shouldn't be shamed either way. It's up to the individual as to what would work for them, as to what happened to them. I find many things much worse than sexual assault that people do to others that harm them. I mean, my own three alcoholics, what they did to me was extremely worse. It was so much more worse than what any of the sexual assaults have ever done to me. Just like I had stated about Unshorn Wizard. What he did to me harmed me more and traumatized me more than any of the sexual assaults did to me. So, back to silent no more. Silent no more. What can that be? The walkaway method. When a victim is in a situation where the alcoholic abuser is abusing them, verbally even, just like I stated in other videos. Here they are. Here's the alcoholic come after the victim. When somebody comes at you and boom, boom, they do it physically, you teach self-defense. You get them off of you. But with verbally, we tell them, this is the words hitting them. Boom, boom, boom. Just walk away. They say that the walking away method will make you the bigger person. No. As I stated in the most recent videos in the topic of the tools that abusers do, what do they want the victim to do? They want that victim to what? Surrender. That's right. So, what happens then? Just like I described with even the online bullying cult plans, is the abuse gets worse. What happened when I did that with Unshorn Wizard in a relationship? The abuse happened over and over again, and it got worse. And the last recent bullying incident was extremely bad. So, me ignoring it and pushing it back, like I said, the conditioned normalized victimization syndrome, that goes along with the silent no more. It's keeping your mouth shut. Boom, boom, boom. Stuffing those feelings. And what happens when you stuff those feelings? Did they go anywhere? No. They're right there. They're going to be right there in the back of your head, and they're going to come out, and they're going to be so much worse and harder to deal with when they do finally come out. Believe me, it was so hard dealing with all those past things that happened with me and my 3 alcoholics coming all out of me during the time of my realization. So what else did happen during my time of my realization? During that time, I realized I had remained silent. What was one reason that I had discussed in the past videos based on the tools is the victim is outnumbered. And what? Most people believe lies over the truth. And that's exactly what happened with me, with my 3 alcoholics. They were able to maintain abuse on me. Now, I'm also going to bring up another thing that somebody had recently said. It is based on what? Religion. They say that the religion and belief in God helped them out of their situation. Well, you know what? I've been praying for most of my life for help. They said, well, God gives you a choice. Oh, now let's stop right there. If God gives us a choice, then that would be like me stating a sexual, assault victim, well, you chose to get raped. That's basically what they're saying to me. So even religion can be hypocritical. If God had plans, did that mean that he planned for you to be raped? They'll come back with, well, the devil did that. But then they say that you have a choice. In my situation, my 3 alcoholics managed to manipulate many doctors to believe lies about me and get me falsely diagnosed and falsely drugged, where I wasn't able to do anything about it. I didn't even realize it because I was so drugged by the time I was an adult. I just thought that was how it is. I didn't really get a chance to have a life where I was able to think like I should be able to and should have been able to, because I never needed those drugs. But my 3 alcoholics managed to do that. I actually was speaking to my godmother, and she remembers all that. She was like, she does not need those drugs. And she tried for many years throughout my life to get them to stop abusing me. But alcoholics, they don't want to stop. So self-defense, I see that as self-respect. When I came to my realization I realized that I was outnumbered many times, and I just kept my mouth shut, and I felt helpless. I said, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to speak out and say what happened to me and be honest about it. I'm not going to take the blame for it out of fear of the consequences. So that's where Unshoring Wizard came into play. And you'll see why that's a reason why it traumatized me so badly, is because I did finally speak out and tell somebody things I never even told people in the mental health profession. The things I did tell people in the mental health profession, and this is where this will come into play too, is they basically bypassed the abuse that I told them about when it was obvious red flags. Even in those, institutes and all that stuff that they had gotten me falsely Baker-acted in, they always took the parent side, because, in culture, they're the higher up above the children, and they're always right, and they have the best interest of the child in their mind. Sure. Great parents, right? So I had come to the realization that even with the bullying cult plans, is that I just silenced myself and I surrendered. And what happened is the abuse got worse. That's exactly what happened with my 3 alcoholics, is they won. I let them win because I surrendered when they were abusing me verbally. I would walk away, shed my tears. They didn't care. They won. They got me. They were able to maintain that abuse because I surrendered. In the time I was trying to escape, I did not do the walk away method. That's where I decided to be a different kind of victim. I remember this one situation when I was home and both my mother and father were saying, "Oh, you never lift a finger around here." Basically saying I'm lazy and blah, blah, blah. No good, worthless. So, guess what? I have tried to help around the house, but even then they abused me and put me down for how I did it. They would even yell at me when I offered to do things for them around the house. So, what I did, my dad his back was turned towards me, my mom was in front, and I go, "Hey, Dad." And he looks back. I said, "I got a finger I'll lift for you." Exactly. I'm not going to say, "I'm sorry, I'm not apologizing for lies that they're making up about me." And that was part of the abuse cycle that was going on during that time when they did that to me. That was just one incident of the abuse. So that's where that group comes in, is I actually did recordings of the abuse, and certain people that I thought I could trust were in that group. Of course, Unshorn Wizard had really humiliated me and really, tore me apart when he had destroyed my group. That was the one thing that kept me strong. Just like I stated, is that usually the victim is outnumbered and people believe the abusers, and then the victim just feels helpless and gives up. And that's what that group did for me, is that it kept me strong, just knowing I had people behind me, because I didn't have that before. And that's why I always dropped and surrendered. Unfortunately, Unshorn Wizard destroyed that on me, so it's like it never was there. And I don't have any good memories of that anymore. So what I seen as Team Pink is now the scary world after all, due to what Unshorn Wizard had done to me and humiliated me and traumatized me by that. So my topic today is going to be based on self-defense, being assertive, speaking up. And I find that very good. I see that as a part of personal integrity. Personal integrity, it says that you do the right thing no matter who is involved. Now, let's stop right there. Most people think that you're doing it for others all the time. But personal integrity, you're doing it for yourself. Doing what's right. Saying what's right. Meaning you're not going to apologize for things that aren't your fault. Meaning you're going to stand up for yourself when people are intentionally trying to harm you. So just like with the word respect, I had made different words to go along with the letters of assertive. Being assertive. That deals with self-love and self-worth and having personal integrity. Having personal integrity, you need to have self-love and self-worth in order to have personal integrity, not just for others, but for yourself too. You need to have self-love in order to even do it for others, and self-worth. And be confident in order to do that. And in order to be confident, you need to have a good sense of self-worth and self-love. So I'm going to read what I had done recently, and the topic is silent no more. A, audacious. Be courageous. Self-worth for the S. The other S, self-love. E, empathetic. R, real. T, truthful. I, intuitive. V, vocal. E, emotional. One huge flaw within our society as a whole is that we go by many mottos that have double standards. We preach to others that they are important and deserve to be treated with respect. Yet, we force mottos that actually teach people to disrespect themselves and others. One of the many flaws that I truly hope I can get others to open their eyes to is this one particular flaw that has actually caused our society a tremendous amount of harm. This flaw is teaching the mottos that actually has enabled abuse to continue and get worse within all types of abuse. Quotes that many people foolishly believe are factual and will positively affect a relationship. Apologizing does not always mean that you're wrong and the other person is right. It just means that you value your relationship more than your ego. Forgive those who trespass against you. Be the bigger person and apologize just to make peace with that person who you value. Well, blah, blah, blah. No, I will no longer apologize to others who have harmed me. I will have the personal integrity to apologize for what I have done wrong, but I will not devalue myself by apologizing and taking blame for what others have done to harm me. My two new mottos are, I hope you don't remain silent from the war that you are fighting. I hope you win the war that most people will foolishly enable to continue. Choose self-respect. One part of having personal integrity is being able to do what is right for you, no matter who is involved, which means that you shouldn't have to surrender to ill behaviors and actions that you don't deserve. You have the right to defend yourself from those who try to harm you. Having self-love is a part of personal integrity because it is a part of our self-worth. If we allow others to treat us in disrespectful ways, our self-worth diminishes every single time. I take stand against the personal mottos that actually diminishes one's personal integrity to do what is right for themselves. I myself choose to no longer be a people pleaser based on illogical beliefs that supports and enables people to harm others without taking responsibility for their chosen behaviors and actions. I hope everyone can use this as a positive affirmation to also become a person who has personal integrity. I am audacious and will always remember that I do deserve to be treated with respect. I will not allow others to intentionally harm my self-worth by their chosen behaviors and actions, because I am not responsible for the unacceptable chosen actions and behaviors that others do to me. My self-love is important and my right to protect from others who intentionally try to destroy it. I am still a humane person who has empathy for others, but my value will always be an important part of being the best person I can be, because I am important and deserve to be treated equally within any relationship that I choose to have. I am real because I will no longer fake or pretend that I am happy and positively fulfilled in a relationship that actually is toxic for me. Being honest with myself is just as important as being honest with others. I will be truthful with myself by being assertive and expressing myself to others who are trying to or have harmed me. I will no longer hinder myself out of fear of rejection or even being outnumbered by lies that most people are likely to believe, like my chapter of truth versus lies proves to be true. I will be intuitive by not ignoring the yellow flags that I see or feel within my relationships with others. The motto of listening to your gut is actually taking those yellow flags and being alert and prepared to protect yourself from those who are intentionally trying to harm you. I will be vocal and not fear the consequences of defending myself from those who are trying to or have intentionally harmed me. I will be proud to be emotional and not be shamed for having emotions when others are trying to or have intentionally harmed me. That's a self-affirmation that I really do hope that others could use too, based on my personal story. As for assertiveness, as being self-respect is self-defense. And silent no more is being assertive and not being afraid and worried about being outnumbered. But the thing that we have to understand as a society is, if we want there to be less abuse, is that people need to smarten up, because many people do believe lies, and many times, most of the time I'll say, abuse is enabled by shark twatters. And there's many shark twatters out there, as I've proven based on my own personal experiences, just with the bullying cult clans alone. There is a numerous amounts of shark twatters. And it's very true, and it's very sad, because that does enable abuse. And having personal integrity, it can be very hard, especially in cases such as mine, where I was outnumbered, even in the recent situation. But I decided to keep with the truth and ignore the others, because they're shark twatters. Why do I want somebody who does not respect me and doesn't see me as being a respectable person? That's their own loss, not mine. I'm going to keep striving for what I want, and that's personal integrity, and that involves having self-respect for myself, self-love, and realizing that I am worthy of being respected and deserve to be treated right in ways that are good for me and not toxic. As Unshorn Wizard said, I do deserve better. And part of being able to get what I deserve, I need to have that personal integrity. And this is a part of it, being assertive and self-respect and self-defense. The silence no more. I'm not surrendering. I'm standing up. I'm going to have that personal integrity. I'm going to remain real, because I'm going to be truthful and honest and open about my feelings within relationships I have. And when I see toxic yellow flags, I'm going to stand alert. Listening to your gut. That's another motto. I never really quite understood it. And actually it was my friend Gloria that mentioned it to me recently. And now I do get it. And that has to be with being intuitive and seeing things. And they're yellow flags. Because you're not for certain. They call them red flags usually, but I call them yellow. They're signs. But you got to keep alert and see if those yellow flags turn into red flags. So, I am standing up. I want personal integrity. I want self-love. And I am worthy of being treated with respect. I won't surrender. That's where I'm a different kind of victim. So that's the end for this part of what I just had written, and giving a overview based upon the past videos when discussing self-defense and self-respect, and why I don't agree with the walk away method. And I agree with silence no more. I'm not staying silent. That's it for today. I'm Shelley Rothus, and I'm a different kind of victim. See you next time.